just like a little bit too... It's a very aggressive Nier that you're playing, right? Your neutral gameplay needs to be more defensive, and your offensive gameplay needs to be a little bit more defensive, honestly. Like, I know it sounds weird to say that your offensive gameplay needs to be more defensive, but I mean, again, when you have a lot of characters in the corner, you don't have to necessarily be right up in their face, you know, mashing 6XL or something. You can. And again, when you do that, that's where, you know, you did too much auto combo instead of, like, you know, actual, like, offensive structure. Plus frames into throw bait, into frame trap, into more plus frames, into shimmy, something like that. Even outside of that, you can always just, like, stand outside of the range of their normals in the corner in places where you can hit them and they can't hit you. You have to realize what kind of character you're playing. You know, I would not give you this advice if you were playing Ladiva. Like, if you were playing Ladiva or Soris or something, and what you were doing to Vaseraga, that sounds great. Running on him, 6XL, like, get in, right? But you have to realize that you're not playing, like, a rushdown character. All right, folks, we are back with more replay review here. We're trying, man. We're trying. I think I was talking about before I started the recording. I think the idea is gonna be that I'm going to try my best to fit 2 per in each one of these replay reviews, right? If they're like 40-minute videos, I can give each person about 20 minutes. I feel like that's not, like, I'm not shortchanging anyone there, you know? I just have to, like, be a little bit more succinct with my points, because I want to make sure I'm still getting, like, you know, like, I'm giving quality advice to people, but I think we can definitely do that in 20 minutes. And if we get 2 of these per video, and I record like 4 of these videos per week, we get 8 of these done a week, there's a world. We can almost maybe only be like a month behind or something. Catalina music, yeah, it goes incredibly hard. The Path of Duty is so good. Shout out to Zeron, by the way, posted all that on YouTube. With that in mind, our first person today here is A0.5 Nier in desperate need of help. Again, I assume A0.5, I think, is probably, you know, like your A1 and S5. Like, you're getting out of A1 all the time, but you keep going to S5 and immediately demoting, is my guess there. So Jimmy Saigame. This is, obviously, we're in the Vaseraga patch now, so this is post-patch Nier with all of her silly nerfs and all that. And some of her very needed nerfs, don't get me wrong. It's going on visual. But yeah, hello all, not quite sure what to do. Less that I don't know what I'm doing wrong, more so I don't know how to enforce any sort of game plan on someone with larger attacks, leading to large stretches of inaction. When I do get in, my pressure is terrible and my combos drop. This is what I'm getting from watching my replays. I'm sure there's a ton missing. I know my gameplay isn't the best. I was kind of embarrassed to send these. But listen, man. Like, asking for advice, everyone's got flaws in their game plan. You can look at literally, like, basically anyone's play, even like really good players, and be like, what the hell were you thinking there, right? We all make mistakes. It's a fighting game. Don't worry about it too much. But any help would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for your time. Amazing. What a polite young man. It's Jimmy Saigame. So there's 3 different games here: Nier versus Vira, Nier versus Susan, and Nier versus Big Raga. Okay, Susan? Versuja? Okay, sure, whatever. Let's start with the Vira here and go from there. As always, you know how it is with replay reviews, right? We always talk about pausing and taking a look. And when you have a better idea, whenever you get hit or whenever you lose your turn is a great place to pause. If you never get hit and you never lose your turn, you will win. This is kind of how this works. And then also, as far as aggressors and defenders, we'll talk about it quickly for each matchup. I mean, Vira, it's kind of weird, right? Vira, like, Nier kind of is like one of the neutral characters of the game, right? Like, she has some of the best, like, with just her buttons, and I mean, her buttons are worse than they used to be. But they're still okay. Far H is still a pretty good button. 214 in general is a pretty nice tool for her. So, like, you kind of want to stay in the mid-range against basically every character in the game, unless you have them in the corner. You don't want to be, like, zoning people out. You don't want to be, like, right up in their face. You want to stay in this kind of mid-range against pretty much everyone. There are very few characters, I think, that are actually going to be causing you trouble in that distance. I don't think Vira is one of them, right? So Nier is a character that requires, at this point, quite a lot of, like, Footsie's ability, I think, to get good results out of it. But we'll see. Let me see. Let me actually start going here, and we can see what Mr. Saigame is up to. Okay, so I mean, Roundstar Far H, oh my lord, Roundstar Far H, I appreciate the hustle. You did get jumped right away, but it's a good button, right? Yeah, you have good buttons, use your good buttons. I'm not going to be able to tell you too much about, like, Nier combos and stuff, especially 1.5. I have no idea how you play new Nier. I had, like, some idea from just seeing her so often of how you played, you know, pre-patch Nier. But, you know, for, like, Nier specific, like, combos and conversions and shit, I'm not going to really say much. I'm going to try and hit some fundies here. Obviously, you know, you want to backdash that, but just react forehead may not always be the best advice. Okay, I like the patience, at least. Oh, I mean, okay. I say that, commentator's curse, you do immediately get frame trapped right after, right? Yeah, so, I will say, right, if you're just getting, you don't, like... Yeah, I would say, in general, fuzzy matching is probably a little bit... You probably don't have to worry too much about fuzzy matching on your defense right now, right? But if someone is just doing shit like that over and over, more so what I'll say for this level is, like, if someone is just 6XLing over and over, wait for them to actually commit to something that gives you a chance to get out, right? Like, if there's gonna do 6XL forever, it does no chip, it does no damage, it just gives them plus frames, sure. But, like, at some point, they're gonna have to run up close to you and throw, or they're gonna have to, you know, command grab like that Vira did. Obviously, she's install now, she doesn't have to, right? Or they're gonna have to do, like, some sort of special move you can Brave counter. I mean, also, another good thing in general, it's a good point, 6XL is not cancelable, right? So, if you're stuck in the vortex forever, you can always just Brave counter this. Of course, fuzzy mashing, it's the same idea as delay teching. They are both fuzzy mashing, but I call them, for some reason, I use delay teching to talk about, like, fuzzy mashing that's late enough that it's meant to catch a throw, whereas fuzzy mashing, the way I use it is, I mean, if you do it a little bit earlier, where you're trying to catch gaps in plus on block pressure like this, right? So if they do 6XL into, like, nothing, or 6XL to 6XL, or something like that, you'll hit them. But if they do 6XL into, like, a frame trap, you'll block. But don't worry, the timing on that is, like, different, and it's a little bit difficult, and it's more of, like, a high-level thing, I think. It's a lot harder than delay teching. So don't worry about it too much. Just, if you're in 6XL hell, either just keep blocking. If you really want to let, like, a DP rip or something, go for it, or you can always Brave counter, right? Dash L is a very nice spot to just Brave counter. I mean, or also this far M, for example, like right here. This is our far L, right? I believe this is far L. But still, I mean, that's a possible opportunity there for you to try and take a turn back with a 2M or something. If they do anything that isn't like Giga Plus and leaves them right in your face, then you can certainly try. Okay, I like the back throw. Okay, I'm gonna try and
very good
keep things moving along somewhat right there.
Incredibly smart.
Hey, Elmoth, thank you for the 6 months. I think that makes you first. I think you are the first person that I need to go in and check what I do about sub badges past 6 months. I think. But your continued support is greatly appreciated, good sir. Thank you. And Death, also very true. Nier on screen. Yeah, I mean, I think you have to be defending the space here a little bit better, right? Like, Nier's anti-air is not exactly spectacular, but in general, even if you just get a 2H and nothing off of it, or you 2H and Raging Strike or something, right? It's like, you need to be defending your space a bit more as Nier, because this mid-range is where you thrive, right? What's going on, Miyato? You know, like this sort of like spaced out 6XL stuff. That's a good, there you go. I mean, that's good, right? Again, you can always just block until they actually commit to something, because at some point they can't do any damage to you by 6XLing, right? They're gonna try and frame trap you with something minus. They're going to try and command grab. They're gonna do something like that. Yeah. Made a blue brick. Beyond that, you can either commission someone or ask very nicely to recolor more. I may ask you very nicely to recolor more. We'll see. I'll have to think about it. Out, because it actually is a relevant thing now. I was able to put it off for 6 months last time. Okay. I mean, he reacted once. You definitely got to be a little bit more careful with that. I mean, that's got to be one of the things that's, like, top of mind when you're fighting Vira, right? Because especially post-patch, install Vira is so scary. Install Vira is so scary that, like, keeping her out of install has got to be one of your primary concerns. And if she spends 100 meter on it, then, you know, that's something, at least. But giving her the install for free off command grab, that is, like, has to be almost the #1 thing on your mind. Please recolor some bricks, pretty please. So true. How are things this afternoon? I'm doing well, Rain. I hope you are as well. Oh, right, that's okay. Yes, I mean, you're talking about you felt like you weren't getting that much going on offense either. I feel like actually it wasn't that big of a this is the one time in this entire game I think that you actually got like a turn. Right, it was right here. Right, this back throw was fine. And then yeah, I mean, you know, little hit there into a tick throw. Maybe you're not using quite as much like death in your pressure, but again, that also has become a little bit more expensive post-patch, right? Like, we can't really talk about your offense too much in this match, because you basically, I think that was the only time you, like, basically had the Vira blocking, right? Certainly, yeah, I think literally otherwise you were either, yeah, kind of in this mid-range, or, I mean, here I guess this is the only other time, right? Where you had the 2-1-4 and 2-3-6 right here. You waited on me. I'm pretty sure you're actionable, like, way before this, right? Like, I think you can start moving right around here. You waited a long time to start running up, right? Plus frames, time is money with plus frames. If you want to take your turn, you want to have those plus frames, you gotta move quick. But as far as like your offense, I feel like just, you know, maybe a little bit less hesitation on it, but more so, I think the big problem with this Vira was, with Nier 2, you're really looking to get them to 50% and then convert a stray hit on defense into a kill combo. Yeah. So the big problem again with this more so is you have to be able to hold that mid range and like threaten them, not just let them run in for free on you like this Vira kind of did the entire set, right? Also, anybody, I know this person, right? Like the Vira was just kind of like bulldozing her way in, and that is something you just can't allow as Nier, because your defense is officially not very good anymore. And again, that mid range is exactly where you can get those like half health death combos if you have the meter or something. Okay, so Versuja is a little bit, I mean, kind of the same, right? Again, Nier is, her neutral is strong enough that, like, you're sort of the same person in every matchup, where, like, you know, you don't want to be at full screen from Versuja, because then she likes throwing Anityas and getting her 5U up and putting pillars down, things like that. You don't want to be right up close to Versuja, because she will kill you. But again, you want to be in this kind of mid-range. So very often with Nier, I think you do want to, like, hold this sort of middle distance until you get a hit and can get into pressure, essentially. Would you recommend keeping your block string shorts, like 3-ish normals? I mean, it depends. Usually, if you're making your block string really long, you're probably using auto combo, which is not a very good thing to do. That's like, if you're, I wouldn't say keeping your block string short is a good thing inherently. It's just that in this game, one of the main ways to expand your block string is auto combo, which is not going to be the best option a lot of the time. Did I not go? Oh my lord! Wait, no. Ah! Hold on a second here. I just realized something. I think I just forgot to go live on YouTube. I thought I hit the button. I guess I didn't hit the button. Oh my lord! Well, here we are now. Oopsie poopsie. That's my bad. Well, hello. But yeah, in general, like, a longer block string is better in theory. It's that there are very few ways to consistently extend your block strings for very long periods of time, right? But okay, sure. Yeah, like even just like, again, I talk about with basically every time I see one of these, but like doing auto combo in your pressure is probably not a good idea. Yeah, right, like this. If you want to have a more, even excluding, like, you know, using death and things like this, everyone can do, you know, close L into, like, that's basically what the Vira is doing to you in, like, a much exaggerated way, right? But everyone can do plus frame into something, right? Like, think about that Vira that kind of like killed you there. All they were doing is they were doing like plus frame into plus frame or plus frame into frame trap. They like barely even threw you almost ever, right? Everyone can do plus frame into frame trap or plus frame into throw or plus frame into more plus frames if they respect you, right? So. But auto combo is not usually a good way to do that. I was thinking, like, you get your opponents in the corner and, like, 5L, 2M. Yeah, sure, but at that point, that 2M, you're probably minus, right? So at that point, that's where you have to think about, okay, how do I extend my turn further? And usually at that point, you're going to start involving, like, your character. You're going to start involving, like, specials, plus on block moves, things like that. That your character, like, plus on block special moves to keep your block string going for most characters. But yeah, like, 5L, 2M is a fine block string as, like, a baseline, right? To catch them mashing. Especially if you leave a gap between, like, the 5L and the 5L or the 5L and the 2M. Like, that's a good, like, frame trap block string. Yeah, you get pushed out a lot. So, for example, that's where Nier, you know, she could do, like, a 2-1-4M or something. And it's a reaction check. But if the opponent is just sitting there respecting her, then she's plus, like, 15 or 20 or whatever the fuck 2-1-4M is, right? So, block string, like, it is by design that you cannot keep, like, super safe plus on block offense going forever, right? I mean, that Versuja, she is punishable right there. I think you tried to do so. Yeah, you just missed out on it. She's -8. I think you're... Oh, 2U, I think is like 10 frames. Yeah, I think you could have done that. I think he's only -8 there. So you just picked the wrong punish option, unfortunately. Okay, sure. Ow. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think... Despite you talking about, like, you know, not having a good way to convert your turns into stuff, I think your big problem is, honestly, you're not having a good enough time defending your space in the mid screen. Now, to be fair, Versuja has really good buttons. So, oh, I have to sneeze. One sec. Oh god. Oh, it's not coming. Oh god, I got trolled. Hold on. God damn, I hate that. You know, you want to sneeze and it oscillates back and forth. Oh, we're back. Sorry about that. If I tried to turn away from the mic there, if you picked it up. Oh yeah, VOD review. Yep. One and done sneeze, correct. Oh wow, that sneeze like pulled something on my neck. What the hell? Don't get trolled, Mr. Brick. I'm doing my best, Suki. How you doing, man? Okay, so wait, let me. I did not pay attention to the start of this round. The sneeze bait. Bless you. Thank you, Liquid. Okay, Death being dead is an interesting time to go on the offense, I will say, just because you're so, like, kind of toothless when Death isn't around. That, like, any person who, like, knows what's up is probably just going to, they're gonna disrespect your pressure bigly, right? But I mean, they also left on, like, relatively, if you can find hits, you can waste a lot of time to help Death come back, right? You're throwing a good amount. I like how much you're throwing in your pressure, I will say, right? I guess you need to, like most people, I feel like, don't throw enough at lower ranks. You're throwing a good bit. I think you just need to do the other stuff, actually. You're not frame trapping quite enough, or, you know, just, like, resetting into plus frames. Those, like, again, that trifecta is, like, that's a triangle of offense in general. And then you can obviously incorporate your own character's special stuff, right? Like, if you do, like, 5L, 2M into 2-1-4M or something, to like catch them slipping and be like plus 15, reset your turn, or like 214H for like, no, 214H is not plus. You have to cancel to do that, right? Actually, is it? Or no, I think it is. I forget some of the Nier specifics sometimes, right? But yeah, again, I think one of the big, like in general though, despite your offensive structure being the thing that you pointed out, like something like, I think, is it like right around here probably? Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't know exactly how much time you have here. But like in general, I think you have to realize that you are, Nier is kind of a defensive character, I suppose, in the sense that you get more reward than just about anybody in the game. Just about. There are some, like some of the top tiers will do this and other stuff as well, but you get more rewards than just about anybody in the game for getting like a random stray like far M or 2M or something like that in the neutral, right? So you don't really need to worry too much about playing like, you know, this regular old like offense defense game. If you can keep the game in like this mid range the entire time and just snipe people out for trying to approach you, right? Very few characters are gonna want to not approach you. And even like, you know, obviously like, you know, pure zoners and stuff like that might cause you some trouble. But like, you can just like stand at that mid range, hit someone with 2M and do a bunch of damage, and then your turn gets started, right? So I think it doesn't seem like your mindset is super defensive focused right now. Hello, Luca, by the way. Like, I think in neutral, I think you are very much like a punish people for trying to run in on you sort of character. Against most characters, against, you know, like Vira and Vaseraga, certainly, right? Maybe not against like Matero or Fairy, but again, those guys, they have their own weaknesses you can exploit, certainly. It feels like you're a little bit too focused on getting in people's faces, and you're like, oh, you know, why can't I open people up that well? I mean, one, again, you can't open people up that well just because you're not using necessarily some of the basic, like, universal mechanics of offense, and you're also not using your own, like, death stuff very much in your offense. But, like, you don't have to worry about this too much in general. Are you reviewing Nier? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Right? Yes, so you kind of, like, you end up just getting, like, dogpiled because you're not controlling the space in mid-screen well enough, and then, I mean, at this point, you know, at this point in her life cycle, certainly, Nier defending herself from just about anybody in the corner is not going to go too well for her, right? So yeah, when you end up over here, things are going to get bad for you, pretty much regardless. Let's see, I want to look at the last game real quick here, and, are you trying Dreamland tonight? No, I don't think I am, just because I think, again, I think I need to spend Tuesdays doing replay review, man. So I don't think I have the time slot for Dreamland on Tuesdays. I think we'll just make the weekends tournament, you know, tournament time, TNS and last straw. And we'll make Monday and Tuesday replay review time. But yeah, so I mean, Vaseraga is kind of like the probably more than most characters. Also a good example of this, right? Shout out to the guy who just published a comprehensive guide on Nier. Definitely not me. This guy should check it out. Oh, did you? That's cool. But in like, oh, what? Okay. DM command grab away from there. Same sort of idea here, right? Obviously, like Voss, like yes, Voss. If you give Voss too much space, he's just gonna 5U. Yep, and you have a little bit of a hard time dealing with that armor sometimes. In general, I don't think you love this matchup very much, by the way. But again, you want to keep Voss away from you. And outside of like, yes, he's got big normals, so they're also slow as hell. You can definitely outfight this Vaseraga individual in the mid range here, because once you're over here, this is not going to be good for you, and it's going to be worse for you than it is for most characters. So I think again, but more of like a, like almost, I want to almost say like, you're not Dhalsim, obviously, but like. Almost, you know, it feels to me that the Niers that I see that are, when I see them doing pretty well usually, they are playing almost like a normal zoner, and then once they get the hit in neutral, right, that's where they go, okay, you know, if they can convert it into some offense or something, sure, if their opponent's low enough, they just kill them outright. Yeah, but like, you're trying to like run at Vaseraga, which seems like a little bit of an interesting decision, right? It's on my Twitter, it got like something like 1.4K views in less than 24 hours. Yo, awesome, man. I'm sure it's very useful. Luca knows his stuff on Nier, certainly. Hello, Leaf. Hello, Oni. Hi. What happened here? So you get... So I mean, even for example, even in the case of like your pressure, right? Like, this is another thing about Nier, right? You don't have to necessarily be like, you know, oh, like, yes, you can do the usual offensive structure stuff of like, you know, plus frames into throw bait or frame trap or more plus frames or whatever. But also, for example, against a guy like Voss, it can be a little bit risky sometimes, depending on what you're doing, to like pressure him super up close like this. You have way bigger and better and quicker buttons to mash, or like just to hit in general, in this sort of range than he does, right? Vaseraga, realistically, has got to be hitting like 2M and like 2L here. And 2M is like a 10-frame sweep that is not super big. And his 2L is his fastest button, but it's you know, pitifully tiny. So if you just like kind of stand... like sort of where, like almost like, you can see my cursor, right? Yeah, I think I changed to capture my cursor. So if you want to stand like almost like where this dust cloud is, like a little bit past where this block button is, and it's kind of like sit there and wait and be like, hey, you know, you're in the corner, you got to get out. right? And just like hit him with like big normals, poke him out, send some like deaths at him every now and then, things like this, right? Then he's gonna have a much harder time getting out than if you just get up right in his face. And it's also where, you know, things like his command grab, you tackle, stuff like that is gonna be much more effective when you're right in his face like this, where it'll be a much bigger risk if you're a bit further away, since command grab won't even reach you, and you tackle, you're probably gonna be able to block and punish. Well, you won't get the punish because you won't block the first part, but still. Like the general idea that I'm getting so far is just more of a like a mindset shift on what kind of character you're playing, right? I mean, I'll say, I mean, that's you can't be doing that, but again, just react forehead is tenuous advice at best. 236U carries this matchup, staying at far H range and chipping 236U is basically guaranteed. Yeah, exactly. See, take it from the Nier player, right? It's like you are very few characters are going to out mid range you as Nier. Even with the nerfs to like 2M and 2U and apparently like a shadow nerf to far H that I've heard some people talking about, where it's gonna be more of like a starting hurt box or something. I don't know. Like even with the nerfs to some of your best neutral buttons, you are still one of the better mid-range characters in the entire game. So using that to your advantage, especially when the opponent's in the corner, right, is gonna be a big thing. And I feel like, yeah, like why are you doing this, right? Like this is a great example. Like, you know, why would you run at Vaseraga? You know what I mean? I get it. You wanna pressure him so he can't just get. The shadow nerf is a lie, by the way? Okay. I was a little skeptical when I heard that, but like I heard a couple people saying it, and I was like, is that a thing? But yeah, so why would you run at Vaseraga? This is like even without Soul Forge at this point, Vas wants to be right in your face because like it's overall gonna work out a lot better for him. He does more damage than you if he's up close anyway, right? And he has 18,000 health, you have 15,000, and his your defense is somehow against his offense at least is probably even worse than his. So. Trying to keep this guy like jumping in again. I don't know about this offensive mindset that you have with Nier, right? Is kind of like that's the big takeaway that I feel like I'm seeing from all of these, right? You are a stick in the mid range, get your hit. Once you get your hit and you're obviously at huge advantage, then go in and do your funny stuff. But in the neutral, you're not dashing at people. You can do it as like a mix up, sure, to be unpredictable, but it shouldn't be your layer one, I don't think. Okay, sure. But again, like yeah, okay. So I mean, this is a bit of a knowledge check. But yeah, this, you either have to react to this and spot dodge, or if you do end up blocking this, you got a brave counter, right? Because Vaseraga gets a guaranteed conversion off this, as you now know. Right, so if you do end up blocking, you really should BC that to not. I mean, he messed up the combo, but still. Out. In this matchup, if Vas can't play with that Soul Forge, you can't play with that 50 meter, you don't want to approach or do anything other than counter poke until you get meter. Yeah, even more so. There you go. Yeah, because your only options to deal with armor are all your U skills, right? 2-2U should work pretty well. 2-3-6U will work certainly as well, though it doesn't have quite the reach in like the mid range. But so I think honestly overall, just like a little bit too. It's a very aggressive Nier that you're playing, right? You're talking about I don't know how to enforce any sort of game plan on someone with larger attacks, leading to large stretches of inaction. So again, all of the people we like, for example, Vaseraga has really big attacks, right? But his moves are like twice as slow as yours. In general, I think your neutral gameplay needs to be more defensive, and your offensive gameplay needs to be a little bit more defensive. Honestly, like I know it sounds weird to say that your offensive gameplay needs to be more defensive, but I mean, again, when you have a lot of characters in the corner, you don't have to necessarily be right up in their face, mashing 6XL or something. You can. And again, when you do that, that's where you did too much auto combo instead of like actual like offensive structure, plus frames into throw bait, into frame trap, into more plus frames, into shimmy, something like that, right? But even outside of that, you can always just like stand outside of the range of their normals in the corner in places where you can hit them and they can't hit you. And outside of characters like Lucilius or Catalina or Percival or Siegfried or some of those like better like button characters, you're gonna be able to do that to a lot. Like maybe Vira kind of. I think you have better buttons than Vira. Basically every character in these replays. Versucha 2M is a problem certainly. But like every character in these replays, you could probably do this too. But you went a little bit too ham trying to run in on these people. I think that's not quite what you should be doing. I think I kind of went. Like your pressure is terrible. I would not. Your combos drops is gonna be you have to lab them out, right? Pressure is terrible. I'm not so sure about that. You throw a good amount. You just don't do enough of the other stuff, right? Needs a space to do 2-3-6-U, but again, my Nier guide is there now. Can I sponsor it in here? All right, you can say whatever you want, man. But yeah, so I think we're gonna leave it there because I do want to move and do a second one right here. That's going on, Moose. But yeah, again, like mostly I think it's a you have to realize what kind of character you're playing. You know, I would not give you this advice if you were playing Ladiva. Like, if you were playing Ladiva or Soriz or something, then what you were doing to Vaseraga, that sounds great. Run in on him, 6XL, like get in, right? But you have to realize that you're not playing like a rushdown character. And I don't mean that you weren't, obviously you weren't playing Nier like a rushdown character, but you know, you weren't playing her, you were playing her more like a rushdown character than Nier, in my opinion. But yeah, on to the next one right here, Schmurtle, who I think, has Schmurtle? Some of these are so, yeah, I think Schmurtle has since hit Master on this. So, you know, again, we'll see how relevant this might be to him, but it might be relevant to other people too who are watching this. So, S++ Belial / Beatrix, attempting to improve to Master. Having a hard time going back and forth between S+1 and S++5, yeah, the classic. I'm looking for the holes within my pressure and how to keep going to increase the mental stack. At a certain point, I think I become predictable and I can't open up my opponents. I've been working on conditioning grab, to working a shimmy for a punish, looking for options to mash, to mush poke? Mash the opponents like Percival and Anila, I assume. I have a replay against Anila who was alright, but I felt I was just fumbling during the match. Let's see. I love playing rushdown zoners. Yeah, again, Nier isn't like, she's not fairy, but like, again, Nier feels more like a defensive, almost like a defensive normal zoner against most of the cast. Because it's kind of like, you have to think about what your character's strengths are and go from there. Your character has good buttons and some of the highest reward mid-screen in the game. Point blank period. So get those hits in the mid-screen, get your reward, and then do the thing. Your character is not designed to dash at people in 6XL unless, again, you're doing it for a very good reason, right? All right. Let's see what's going on with this Belial versus Anila here. Nier can be a rushdown, but it's a different rushdown at times. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to play one. You don't want to play one playstyle the entire time either. It gets predictable, right? But I think like as a layer 1 is a basic idea in a lot of matchups. Nier probably is more of a, you know, get the play defensive, find the hits, punish you for extending, and then get a lot of damage, and then, you know, kick your ass after. Okay, this is curious. I mean, obviously, talking about aggressors and defenders. Oh, she pouts when she throw text. That's cute. You got the little fern thing going on there. Obviously, I mean, Belial kind of just does everything better than Anila does anyway, so it doesn't matter. Probably every place on the screen is good for you here, but at its heart, Anila is still going to be more comfortable when she's at that sort of mid-long range than you are, or at least it's going to be more comfortable for her than being up close. So you probably do want to, like, you know, complete 180. You probably do want to play a little bit of rushdown Belial right here. So let's see how this goes. You got DP, that's fine. You DP him right back. I understand. I like the throw. This is obviously S++, so you're going to be a little bit more nitpicky on some stuff right here. Sure. Good conversion. Okay, dropping, I mean, that's the optimal off the EX Asmodeus there is like 2L, close L or whatever, right? You just drop the combo. There are easier conversions, of course, but I'm gonna stop talking about it. Should have joined earlier. That's fine, man. You're good. Yeah, so you drop the combo and then... okay. I mean, I will say, right? You, as Belial, at the very least, right? You have one of the best... like, you're doing like this shimmy and you don't quite react in time to walk up and throw. You have one of the best punish buttons in the entire game. Actually, no, sorry. Let me take that back. You have the best whiff punish button in the entire game, and it's called Far H, right? So if you're trying to shimmy with Belial, keep Far H in mind, right? I understand it's a little bit harder to convert off of it now because you spent both Asmodeus and the Fireball, but still, right? If you're gonna be shimmying, Far H should be the thing that, like, you should have your finger hovering over Far H to kill them if they whiff that throw. It'll be quicker, it'll be more consistent, you'll get bigger reward off it most of the time. You went for the easier conversion there that time. Sure, I like it. I mean, this seems pretty good so far. Outside of, like, I mean, obviously, you won this round, see how it keeps going. But I don't really mind what I'm seeing right now. Huh? Oh, they paused it. Okay, sure. You did round start 2U right there? That's a bit of interest. I don't think that hits from round start, right? I think that was 2U. I think the way that the stance Belial's in right there. That's a bit of an aggressive round start option, I think. Oh, I mean, speaking of, Far H with Far H into DP. I mean, they didn't punish you because you're only -12 because you're a cheater, but sure, I like it. Plus buttons into throw. You haven't done a lot of that so far. Oh, you tried to frame trap and got DP. I mean, I like your offensive structure so far. You've done some plus button to plus button to frame trap, plus button to throw. You're doing the basics pretty well, as you'd expect from an S++. Sure, yeah. I'm not sure if you did that on reaction or what. That was pretty late, but still. This is a problem that I have and that lots of people have, and it's a big problem. And it's usually, I notice it a lot actually in like higher level players where it starts, you know, kicking their ass, is just preemptively brave countering on wake up. Because it was such a get out of jail free card for you as you were climbing, but obviously this is a bad idea. Don't do this. You want to brave counter on reaction to things, not on preemption to things, is the general idea, I think.
Get grabbed, comma, nerd.
Yo, God Sasto, thank you for the follow. Thank you. Hope you're enjoying the stream and the replay review and all that. Welcome, welcome. I like close L, close H. Again, you're doing some frame traps. Oh, that is, I'm pretty sure that's punishable now. I'm pretty sure that's punishable. I think you just missed the timing. I think you thought you hit, that you were going to try and hit confirm into Raging Strike right there. It didn't work, but they didn't block it either, so sure. Yeah, I think honestly, like, if there's one thing here, it's like you are definitely dropping a lot of your combos, right? Is the big thing I'm noticing there. Okay, you tried to reaction check them, they reacted. That's not really, now you know. Gotta respect, you gotta put more on the Anila's mind first before you do that kind of stuff. Okay, I like it. What's the schmicks? I like the, okay, shimmy attempt, sure. You close H as well, try to catch them matching. Didn't quite side swap, but I think you crossed them up. I think they thought you were gonna side swap. Okay. I have a theory. I'm gonna wait to watch the rest of this before I say it. I have a, you talking about, yeah, okay. You were talking about you're wondering how to put more mental stack on people, and I think I have a theory here. As something that's a little bit more subtle than what we've talked about so far, but what is the equivalent rank to SF6 Master in this game? Master. There's a rank called Master in this game as well. So that'll be the equivalent rank right there. S++ that you're looking at right now is the rank before that, so it'd be the equivalent of Diamond in SF6. Okay. Ah, you got throw baited. Sure. Yeah. Okay. So I have a theory, and I wanna quickly look back at some of these offensive turns real quick and try to figure some stuff out here, right? Yeah. Okay. Before I say anything with too much confidence, right? Okay. And then what do you do next time that you have a turn? You get brave count here, doesn't really count. Yeah, it's I got the sense, because you're wondering how you can put more mental stack on the Anila, right? And something I noticed that you don't do very often, and this might seem a little bit counterintuitive, right? But I noticed that it feels like you don't do the same option on offense that many times in a row, if that makes sense. It feels to me like you're rotating through your offensive options, you know? Like you're going, okay, like you know what you're supposed to be doing, right? You're going like plus frames into throw, plus frames into frame chat, plus frames into, you know, command grab, reaction check, plus frames into shimmy. But it feels like you're just kind of like you're just looping through like a Rolodex of them, right? You're going plus frame, frame trap. Then next time you go plus frame into shimmy, and then next time you go plus frame into frame trap, and then next time you go plus frame into command grab. Grappler mindset for real. So you have to, like, I think it surprisingly, right? I think it can be actually very helpful to do the same thing multiple times in a row sometimes, because you're talking about mental stack, and that I think is besides like just having to practice your combos some more to not drop. You drop like a mid-screen conversion, you drop the corner conversion, right? But you're talking about like adding mental stack. Believe it or not, going like 6XL, 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 right, isn't a horrible idea. You might get hit for it on the third or fourth 6XL, but you know what that does is it really starts to over-centralize an option in your opponent's mental stack, and then it makes them less likely to be able to react to something new. Exactly, Suki. Yeah, you get them expecting the same thing, or you can get them expecting, okay, now he's definitely going to do something else, right? So I think you have to be a little bit less, like almost, yeah, a little bit less clean in the way you run your offense, you know? Like, go conditioning? Yeah, pretty much, right? Like, it's a basic idea of conditioning is like, if you do the same thing over and over again, now you put them in a mind game. Unless in a single 2M, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe obviously with Belial, you have a lot of tools as well, but I'm talking even more general than that, right? Like, you again have a very clean offensive structure. You just kind of rotate through them. But you know, if you do like multiple frame traps in a row, right? You do multiple, you go 6XL close L, 6XL close L, you know, or you do like multiple shimmies in a row or something like that. Or and also there's options you just aren't using straight up. Like you're not using. Let me see my God Zangief. Oh, we'll bring him over in a second here. Nothing. But yeah, like you don't even like, you never use like the MDP, for example. That's a whole separate. You want to, if you're gonna put reaction checks in your gameplay as well, you want there to be multiple different reaction checks that all have multiple different answers to them, so that they're not just, you know, down backing and waiting for the one thing. Oh, I see command grab, I match, right? So because this Anila matched on command grab both times you did it. But if you MDP, they can't just mash far L, right? They have to like 2H or spot dodge kind of, but if 2H or DP it or something, right? And if you do, for example, the fireball, right? You can do fake gaps with Belial with the fireball, where you do like the fireball and you spin it. There's a gap there. They can mash on it, but it's a different timing from command grab, right? So if you're gonna put reaction checks in your game, you want to have multiple different ones. Even like Raging Strike. I think you Raging Strike once on accident. Well, you hit them with a Raging Strike once on accident in this game. I think you meant to convert 4L into Raging Strike and you didn't, right? But they blocked it. Like, if you want to put things on your opponent's mental stack, you have to put things on your opponent's mental stack, for lack of a better word, right? You have to be unpredictable, and the best way to do it, there's two ways to do that. One, don't have like a flowchart that the opponent can pick up on, right? And two, have as many possible options. If you do have a flowchart, make that flowchart have as many possible different arrows pointing out of it as possible, right? So it's not just, I know I talk about it all the time, like I was talking about just earlier in this video, right? Of like, everyone can do close L throw, close L frame trap, close L into another close L or into a 6-6L into like more plus frames to catch them if they're respecting you, right? Everyone can do that. That is the basic offense though, right? If you want to spice it up, you're gonna have to use some of your character's tools, and also you're gonna have to be weird in the way that you run your own offense, right? Again, you might have to do like 5 close L's in a row. You might have to leave a really big gap in your offense and then walk up in close L again. You might have, like, if you want to be unpredictable and start opening up these like better defensive players, it's what you're gonna have to do, right? So that I think is the really, it's only a 2-minute 50-second replay. But if I had to give you like a soul read, it just feels like you're a little too clean. Like you're running your offense like it's out of a textbook. You know what I mean? You're just going like, okay, I last time I frame trapped, so this time I should throw. They won't. And then this time last time I threw, so this time I should command grab. This time I command grabbed, so this time I should frame trap. Right? It's not quite that clean, right? Funny enough, again, doing the same thing over and over and over again can actually be a good place. Like, you want to think about conditioning on a multi-interaction scale, not on just, what did I do last time? That's another good way to phrase that, I think. You want to think of it over the course of a set, right? Like, you can have some sort of game plan for it, but you want to think of not just, last time I did this, so this time I'll do this. You want to think of what kind of habits are you building into your opponent throughout the course of the set. And that's where you can really start having like some really, really despicable mental stack. And then also just using tools you weren't using, right? Maybe if you have a move you can permutate out of, I think. I mean, they were doing a lot of 6XL, that works. Definitely also not using a lot of 2M. Belial's 2M is absurd. Not using far H for shimmy punishes, right? Not using enough fireball in your offense, so like the different kinds of fireballs. Not using MDP, right? Maybe not using if you want to do the command grab a lot, you can sometimes do the U command grab, so it's invincible, and if they hit you, they die, right? There's like, Belial is a good character, kind of, to practice mental stack on, because you have so many different options that you kind of are playing with the training wheels a little bit, right? You can just, like, even if you're not rotating your options super well, if there's like 9 of them, right, then you can do pretty well for yourself regardless. You just aren't using a lot of them, is the other thing, right? Okay, well, hold on, let's say hi to Zangief real quick, because nothing asked for it like 3 minutes ago. And I'll sort of, as we're doing this, we can talk about sort of the closing thoughts for Shimmer right there. But yeah, I mean, I feel like you said you were fumbling the whole match. I'm not quite so sure I agree with that. Also, hello, Zangief says hi. Here he is, waving at you. He's such a plump individual. Now look at how big this fella is. He's like, yeah, he's like the length of my arm, just about. Yeah, or I guess length of like from my elbow to my hands, right? They call him the what? He's always eeping. It's true. He's not awake. I'm not waking him up right now. He's still, he's still being chilling, so he's fine. Yes. Hello. His slumber is eternal, and we should be so lucky. Is the general idea there? But yeah, so you said you were like fumbling the whole match. I'm not sure that was true. Or yeah, are you just fumbling during the match? I'm not sure that was true. Definitely. I mean, I will say, right? Obviously, like combos, we talk about a lot when people are learning the game that combos are not necessarily the most important thing. You're an S++. You got to be hitting these, right? Like you dropped like 2 pretty decent damage conversions here. Like this, there was the Asmodeus early on, right? I think it's right here. I think it is right here, right? Fireball into Asmodeus into dropping the 2M, I think. Yeah, right. You dropped this, and then there was a fireball conversion that you dropped somewhere else. At this point, when you're an S++, you're trying to get to master, and obviously, Shmurtle's done so already, I think. But just if you're at this point, your combos, you have to have them down. I think you have to be getting, because like the game really does become a lot about risk reward as you get higher up. And if you're just not doing as much damage on your hits as your character can do, that whole calculation skews out of whack. right? So that it's not really good advice in the sense that it's not really anything new to you. I'm sure you know you need to not drop your combos, but you need to not drop your combos, right? You need to be practicing those or lobbing them a bit more. Or if you need to do a simpler combo, right? Like some easier conversions, so you do that the next time, right? Next time you hit the Asmodeus, you do close L, right? Like you do the close L here, which is an easier follow-up that's less damage. If you need to do that, man. Do that. You don't have to have optimized combos. This will still do more damage than dropping the optimal one, right? So, anyways. Oh, man. Yeah, Fada gave you a lot. Yeah, people are always helpful in the Discord there. So that's wonderful. Hello, Innie. We saw a replay with you in it, actually. You were, I think, a Vira in one of the replays. But yeah, that's about the size of it, I think, Schmirtle. Mental stat, like, this is like a very kind of tough question. Just because, like, this is basically how can I have good offense? But again, you are at the point now where just doing the basic rotation is not going to save you. You gotta play cleaner. Or sorry, you gotta play less clean, actually, funny enough. You gotta, like, do the same option a bunch of times in a row. You gotta feel like, you have to make your opponent feel like they can't tell what you're gonna do next, is the basic idea. We got a bit of a backlog? Yes, August 28th, so. Anyways, that is gonna do it, I think, for, was it Insa? No, it was Mr. Jimmy Cygame, aka Glary Clyde, right here. It's August 28th, long time ago. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this replay review. I think we got through 2 in a single one. That's honestly, that's great news for me. I hope that I can continue to do so. I think if we can get through 2 of these, again, 2 of these a video, aka 4 of these a day, on aka twice a week, 8 of these a week. I think that's not a horrible pace. And we can get there. But yeah, we're gonna do 1 more of these on stream. But for the VOD watchers, real quick, hello VOD watchers, hi, hope you had a good time with the video. If you did, any kind of likes, subscribes, comments, bells, all of that good stuff helps out a lot. You know how it be. I also stream every day from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern, except Fridays, on Twitch and YouTube, so come by and hang out. I also have a Discord. You're looking at it right now. If you want to post replays, I'll get to them in like a couple of months. Everyone else will get to them like a few days after they're posted, usually at worst. So, you know, good idea. Otherwise, it's also a good place to make friends and get matches and all that. But if you do join, be nice, or I'll shoot you in the head in Minecraft. Most importantly, hope you have a great time hanging out today. I know I sure did. Yeah, fun. Always interesting seeing like the subtle differences in sort of the gaps in people's play. Right? Everyone's got their own strengths and weaknesses, and while there's certainly, I can talk about the basic offensive structure to everyone. You know, what parts of it they're not using properly, or what parts of it that are missing is always different, right? It's like a puzzle trying to figure out from like a 3-minute replay what exactly could be going on here. But yeah, have a lot of fun with Gramble. Gonna be a lot more coming your way, and until then, I will see you in the next one. Peace.